Good morning, everybody, and happy Thursday. So, you've heard me say a million times, we cannot control events, we can only control our response to those events. That includes other people. We cannot control what other people are going to do. Those of you that have kids know what I'm talking about because children are going to go where they're going to go. They're going to take their path and they're going to do their thing. A lot of times as we go through this journey, we can get wrapped up with somebody that we're related to, somebody that we love, somebody that we're married to, or, with a kid, where we're trying to change the way that they're approaching their life. And now we can dramatically influence on somebody's life, but at the end of the day, their life is going to be their choice. And we can't change that process. Just like we can't change the weather, we can't change outside sources that are going to impact our life. COVID is a great example of that. We've been using it too much, but it's the great example of that. At the end of the day, there's going to be people in our life, and a lot of times it's people that we significantly care about that we simply cannot change the path that they're on. They're going to make their choices. And you remember the story that I told about the lady that was involved in the air crash years and years and years ago on a small plane off the coast of Japan, and there were 4 people who could swim and 4 people who couldn't, and she could swim. She was the flight attendant and she could swim, and this is before they had all of the safety equipment and all the stuff. This is when commercial airlines just started, and it was a tiny little plane. So they told everybody as they were going down, stay in the water with your arms up, and we will come get you. So they got off the plane, they got the boat, she went down into the water, and there were 4 people who were there with their arms up waiting to be saved. And she thought, okay, well, they're okay. And she went down and tried to grab the people that were fighting and struggling and not following the directions. As she went and tried to grab them, they grabbed her and almost drowned her. She had to fight and break away and get back up to go get oxygen. As she came back down to get the 4 people who had their arms up, too much time had passed and they had drowned too. It's a true story from a lady I saw tell it years and years ago when I first started crewing Tony Robbins events, and it happened to her when she was very young, like I said, back in the 40s and 50s when commercial airlines had just started, when you had the first flight attendants. And it was a very tough lesson, but the lesson is you got to help the people who want to be helped. Had she just gone after the 4 people with their arms up, she could have saved all 4 of them, and they would be alive. And they were doing what they were told and wanted to be helped. But instead, she went and tried to help the people that weren't following directions, and not only did everybody die, but she almost died in the process. And that's the lesson. You got to go help the people who have their arms up. And if you don't, and you go help the people who don't have their arms up, they might drag you down with them, and they could ruin your life as well as their own. So I lost a really close relative yesterday, and probably died of alcoholism. And there were a lot of people that could help him in his life, and a lot of people tried. But at the end of the day, he had to make his choices, and who knows what was going on and how he ended up where he ended up completely. There could have been a lot of other factors. But at the end of the day, it's his choice as to where he went with his life, which is really tough and really sad, but also really true. So as we go through life, we have to remember we got to help the people that want to be helped, and we can influence and we can be present and we can send all the love in the world, and all of that stuff can have a dramatic impact. You can't believe what an impact just one phone call can have. And we should do all of those things all the time. Take the time to do the things that are important. Take the time to make the phone calls. But at the end of the day, understand that everybody's life is their choice, and they're the ones that are going to have to do it. And whatever they're subject to, whether they had a mental disorder, whether they had whatever they're suffering from, you can't necessarily change that. The old adage, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So lead him to the water. Do that. Take the time. Take the time to help the people. But once you've done what you can, then you have to understand, then it's up to them in order to take those steps. And those are tough lessons, but it's lessons that we've got to learn, because you've got to pay attention and spend the time on the things that are going to matter. That means when you take the time to talk to them and to be supportive and to be there, that's what you can do. And so that's what you focus on. Be present, make the calls, tell them how you feel, do the things that you can do, and then be happy that you did that. You did what you could for the people with their arms up. Have a great day, everybody. I know not the super awesome, inspiring comments that we have in the morning, but it's just a good lesson to remember. If you're trying to help somebody and they don't want to be helped, all you're doing is letting them pull you down. If they want to be helped and you're trying to help them, then that's what you should be doing. But even then, at the end of the day, they got to make the right choice. They got to be the ones that decide that they're going to take that step in order to get themselves where they need to be. So you got to remember that too. But if you're trying to help somebody and they don't want to be helped, all you're doing is letting them drag you down under the water. And that's exactly what's going to happen. And if you've helped them all that you can and they won't take that last step, then don't beat yourself up, because you've done everything that you can do. And then at the end of the day, we're all responsible for our own lives. We're all responsible for our actions. We're all responsible for how we're going to get to where we're going to get. And everybody's going through something. No matter who you are and no matter where you're at, you're going through something. And if you're not, there's a wave coming. So we've all got to take responsibility for that and get ourselves out of it. Get ourselves out of those problems and on to the next problem. And also, it's okay to raise your hand. So remember, when you're the one that needs the help, put your hands up and say, please help me. Go ask for help. It's amazing how many people are out there that are willing to try. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.